story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV News Primetime News. I am Martins Dixon. In our major story, Nigerian military launches search and rescue operation for missing fighter jet. West African defense chiefs pledge military support for the battle against Ebola and Boko Haram. Bring Back Our Girls protesters in Osun State mark 5 months of the adopted Chibok girls in captivity. And outside Nigeria, British Prime Minister David Cameron says Britain will hunt down the killers of aid worker David Hines. Thank you for joining us, and now the details of the news. The defense authorities have declared missing an aircraft of the Nigerian Air Force in Adamawa State. The Director of Defense Information, Chris Olukolade, says in an electronic mail that the aircraft, an Alpha jet, has been missing since Friday, September 12. Olukolade said the aircraft left Yola by 10:45 a.m. on an operational mission and was expected back to base by 12 p.m. same day. That has not been found, adding that the aircraft had 2 pilots on board. The defense spokesman says the military had started search and rescue efforts meant to establish contact with the crew. Security experts have called on the federal government to empower the military with attack helicopters to win the war against terrorism, noting that the security forces need complete air power to defeat Boko Haram insurgents. They observed that the missing NAV 466 Alpha jet might have been shot down by insurgents, adding that investigators should probe the circumstances surrounding the disappearance of the aircraft. A security consultant, Ben Okezi, says it is unfortunate that the military will lose the aircraft at this point in time, noting that the security forces are not converting local insurgents but international terrorists who have the backing of some foreign countries. Okezi noted that Boko Haram had sworn to attack and take over Maiduguri by October 1, stressing that the group will do anything to achieve their objectives, including bringing down military aircraft. He advised military authorities to recall retired military personnel, pointing out that the United States did so during the Iraq War. A sit-in protest was held at the Nelson Mandela Freedom Park in Osogbo, the Osun State capital, to mark the 5 months in captivity of the adopted Chibok girls. The sit-in protest was tagged "Break the Silence." Organizers say the government is handling the matter with kids' gloves.
If the federal government handlers didn't have children, at least people that surround them have children, and Chibok girls, they are all our girls. We are laying our voice, we are breaking the silence from the state of Osun to tell the whole world that today marked the 5th month that the Chibok girl has been kidnapped.
We should not be concerned about elections, we should not be concerned about anything, we should be concerned about this country. The house of Nigeria is on fire, the northern part of Nigeria is on fire. These girls are in captivity 153 days today. And the nation, if we cannot fight for the most vulnerable people in our nation, then who are we as a nation?
I want the federal government to take notice that we are aware of the disappearance and unknown place where our sisters are. And I want the federal government to release them alive and now.
Nollywood actress Foluke Daramola Salako has called for all hands to be on deck to ensure that the abducted Chibok girls are rescued. The actress, who spoke to CoreTV News in an exclusive interview, says she will continue to work with other activists to ensure that the issue remains on the front burner until the girls are back home.
For an American, a citizen is worth billions. It's even unquantifiable. So at the end of the day, we find a situation in this country that I feel that the value of life to us means almost nothing. We see people die, we see people in pain, and we don't do anything to it. We feel like it's like a normal thing for us. Our threshold for pain is just becoming one that I would say it's becoming unbecoming.
No fewer than 20 people are reported to have been killed and many others injured in a renewed communal clash in Tunari village, Ukari local government area of Taraba State. The incident started when some gunmen suspected to be Fulani herdsmen invaded the village from the neighboring Plateau State. Residents of the youth of Vision, Ukari, Sir Asen Agbo, told journalists that the attackers struck at about 10 a.m. when several residents of the village were in church. He expressed regret that the attackers, said to have numbered over 300, targeted only Jukun Christians, prompting a lot of them to relocate to other areas. Another eyewitness, who said he narrowly escaped the attack, expressed sadness at the lukewarm attitude of the security operatives, whom he accused of coming to the aid of the victims after the attackers had succeeded in perpetrating their evil acts. Confirming the attack, the police public relations officer Joseph Kwaji said there was an attack that is unable to confirm the number of casualties, as the authentic figures were yet to be made available to the command. Rector of the Federal Polytechnic Ado-Ekiti, Feriza Akande, and the student union government have called on the Commissioner of Police, Frederick Lakanu, to release students arrested over a protest that rocked a room phone in Ado-Ekiti. The protesters, believed to be populated by students of the institution, were angry that while they had been without electricity for over a month, a hostel of the junior staff of Afe Babalola University at Ado-Ekiti in the same area had been enjoying power supply. At a joint press briefing with the SUG president, Ajibola Oladapo, the management of the Polytechnic, which exonerated its students of involvement in the riot, sympathized with Babalola over the attack, saying that several innocent students and staff of the Polytechnic were arrested by the police during the protest. Akande maintained that the students of the institution will not in any way denigrate his person or do anything that will smear his image. She lamented that the community had been under threat in recent time due to influx of miscreants and dropouts from other schools, aside the protracted epileptic power and water supply problems suffered by the residents. West Africa's chiefs of defense staff have pledged military support for the battle against the Ebola virus disease in the region. This is one of the 8 recommendations they came up with at their just-ended meeting in Accra, Ghana. The defense chiefs said they are prepared to contribute to regional effort to combat the disease. Elaborating on this at the closing ceremony, Ghana's Chief of Defense Staff, Vice Admiral Matthew Kwashe, explains that the military is ever ready and always the first to respond to any emergency. On the security situation in northeast Nigeria, the defense chiefs called for enhanced intelligence sharing among member states. He also made a case for more counterinsurgency training. Ghana's Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Kwesi Kwate, says Boko Haram has to be stopped, adding that Africa cannot afford an unstable Nigeria. The Rivers State government says it is yet to receive any monetary assistance from the federal government on the outbreak of Ebola virus disease. Rivers State Commissioner for Health, Samson Parker, raised the alarm during an interview with journalists in Abuja. Parker says the state government had received a budget of 1 billion naira from Emergency Operation Committee to fight Ebola in the state. He warned Nigerians not to celebrate yet until the Ebola disease is sorted out in Liberia and Sierra Leone. The public affairs analyst Kayode Salako has called on all Nigerians to trust the judgment of the federal government as regards the reopening of schools shut during the Ebola outbreak. Salako, who was a guest on our flagship program Core Digest, says the issue of the prevention of the spread of Ebola virus does not only affect schools, but all sectors.
Those of us in the private sector, private education sector, we are very, very conscious of that. We are conscious of that, and we're putting everything in place to make sure that these children come back to school and they are safe within our school premises. But our problem is with the government schools. Some of these government schools don't have some of these facilities, and I'm aware that the government has been putting them in place.
He added that what should concern all Nigerians is now to ensure that schools are provided with facilities to make them safe.
But what we, the private school owners, are saying is that the government has convinced us enough that it is now safe for children to go back to school. So why keeping children at home to be useless when the federal government has said it is convinced?
No,
the Lagos State government has said it is convinced that it is now safe for children to go back to school. So that is the area we are looking at it.
There has been anxiety in Taraba State as ailing Governor Dambaba Sontai returns to Nigeria. The ailing governor has been in and out of the state for medical treatment abroad following an air crash in Yola of the Cessna 208 aircraft, which he piloted. An earlier press statement by his chief press secretary, Silvanus Giwa, had noted that Sontai is expected to arrive Jalingo on Sunday or Monday. However, there is confusion and apprehension in Jalingo over the fate of the governor, as he is expected to resume duties as the executive governor of the state. The apprehension is further heightened by the order from the State Executive Council to the Speaker of the House of Assembly asking the House to set up a medical team to assess the state of health of the acting governor. Loyalists of the ailing governor are accusing acting Governor Umar Garba of trying to use the investigation to assume full executive powers by declaring the ailing governor permanently incapacitated, an accusation aides of the acting governor have vehemently denied. You're watching CoreTV Primetime News. We will take a break and we'll be back to continue. Stay with us.
There is an Ebola virus epidemic in some West African countries. The Nigerian government wants you to be aware and watch out against the spread of Ebola in your community. Help keep our country safe and watch out for severe cases of fever, headaches, diarrhea, chest and abdominal pain, sore throat, cough, red eyes, and bleeding from the eyes, ears, and nose, especially when these symptoms are found in persons coming into Nigeria from other West African countries. Protect yourself. Wash your hands regularly with soap and running water, or use a hand sanitizer. Avoid contact with the blood, urine, feces, or saliva of animals like bats, monkeys, gorillas, chimpanzees, or infected persons. The Ebola virus is deadly. Don't catch it. Don't spread it. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
Welcome back. National leadership of the People's Democratic Party has described the party's victory in Katsina State Council election as an affirmation that it is on the ground in the Northwest and will clear the votes in the zone in the 2015 general elections. The party's National Publicity Secretary, Olisa Methu, says it is a sign of the party's acceptance by Nigerians in all the nooks and crannies of the country. Methu added that its overwhelming electoral victories earlier in Kaduna and now in Katsina clearly indicated that the PDP was on the ground in the zone and will sweep the votes not only in the Northwest but also in the entire northern region in the 2015 general elections. He congratulated Governor Ibrahim Shema of Katsina State, as well as leaders and members of the PDP in the state for the successful outing, thanking the people of Katsina State for their support expressed in the free and fair elections. Methu urged the newly elected local government officers to reciprocate by working hard to ensure that their people not only continue to enjoy the benefit of having the PDP in power, but also vote en masse for it in the general elections. The Osun State Election Petition Tribunal has received reply of the All Progressives Congress to the petition filed by the candidate of the Accord Party, Ni Owolade, asking the tribunal to nullify the victory of Rauf Aregbesola. Counsel to the All Progressives Congress, Segun Adegoke, filed in a reply to the petition.
Well, we are here today to file our reply, our defense, to the petition filed by the Accord Party candidate, Mr. Niyi Owolade. He filed the petition a number of days ago, something of about 17 pages. He only served us the day before yesterday. We immediately entered appearance the day before yesterday once we got a copy of the petition. And today we have filed our reply to the petition. While he front-loaded a list containing 14 witnesses to prove that the election in all the 30 local governments of the states, that the election was rigged. We are front-loaded nothing less than 30 witnesses. The election was free and fair.
The APC, through its counsel, accused Accord Party and its candidate of acting the scripts of some people, especially in its earlier petition that led to the removal of the former chairman of the tribunal, Justice I.M. Bako.
Because PDP did not want to write the petition against the former chairman of the tribunal, Justice I.M. Bako. They didn't want the man because the man is incorruptible. So they wrote a petition through Accord Party, Mr. Niyi Owolade, to the president of the Court of Appeal. And surprisingly, the chairman of the tribunal was removed. And that is the essence of the complaint of our own clients.
No date has been fixed for the hearing yet. The outgoing national chairman of Labour Party, Dan Nwanyao, has spoken out for the first time on why the party has never considered collaborating with Nigeria's largest opposition party, the All Progressives Congress. The Labour Party chairman also spoke on his regrets as he prepares to vacate the office he occupied for almost 11 years. The report.
He's been in office for almost 11 years, and now it's time to leave. Dan Nwanyao has been the face of Labour Party since former Labour leader Adams Oshiomhole headhunted him in 2003. But in the next few weeks, a new man will occupy the seat. He tells CoreTV about some of the things he will never forget.
I was on my own on a private business practicing law, doing very well in Chief Rotimi Williams' chambers as an associate practitioner, and also doing other things. When he met me in Port Harcourt at the Presidential Hotel on a breakfast table, I said, Dan, come, are you here or there? Good party. I said, I'm not in any party. He said, no, come, we have a party. You can do it. God brought you here. I said, do you people have money? He said, no, Dan, you know you can fix it. Everything's not about money. You know how Adam talks. I returned here. He kept following me until finally we agreed. So you can see the contradiction in all that we have done. But I have also, I'm sure if you ask him, he will tell you I have not disappointed him. I have put in my best because before I take any assignment, I make sure that I'm prepared for it.
Nwanyao was a trade unionist before Labour Party and now describes himself as a professional in politics. The former banker insists that he's not on salary, but admits that there is a lot of temptation in politics. He cites an example of how he was offered a large sum of money to betray Ondo State Governor Olusegun Mimiko.
There is heavy temptation in this office, monetarily, in all currencies. And I know what I'm saying. I said that much to NEC yesterday. In this office, somebody offered 500 million naira for me to truncate Mimiko's case in the tribunal in 2006, 2007. I mean 2007, 2008, until 2009. 500 million. I had him on tape. In this last election, the same thing happened. I was asked to mention my price.
The man who was the face of Labour Party in the last 10 years says he will be leaving with only one major regret.
Regrets? Maybe because we have not been able to achieve electronic voting. And it is deliberate that both INEC and the National Assembly has consistently and persistently refused or neglected to let it be. That is the only way we can move on and Nigeria can develop. India, with over 600 million voters, use the electronic voting system. Nobody goes to tribunal because you need not to go and queue. You can be in your bedroom at that time, you vote. It is there. No ballot box, no ballot paper, no tog, no assignment for miscreants.
And now that he is on his way out of office, the Labour Party chairman says he is still not sure of what to do next. He says he's keeping his options open, but reveals that one of them is a return to the law practice.
The proposed plan by the federal government to ban the sales and consumption of hides and skins, popularly known as Pomo, is generating reactions from Nigerians. Our correspondent Rashid takes a look at Pomo as a delicacy and a source of income to many people. The report.
Pomo, a delicacy made from hides and skins of cows, has become a household name in Nigeria. Though it cannot be ascertained how and when it became a recipe, its consumption, which cuts across all social strata, has led to the creation of an industry. From its production processes, distribution, and retailer in the market, Momo is no doubt a multi-million naira industry.
Looking at the production process of this delicacy popularly known as Momo, it is evident that it is a full-fledged business on its own. And as it is, it has become a generational occupation where it's been handed over from mothers to daughters.
When our husbands peeled the hides, we burn them and make it to Pomo. We started from Okebode before we expanded and came to this place. If we are counting now, I have been on this business for over 30 years and it's now being handled by my child.
I met my mother doing it. We were born into it, and it's over 15 years now that I have been doing this, and I have recorded much success.
As Nigerians wake up to the proposed ban on sales and consumption, what comes to the mind is the economic implications of the proposal on the people. But just as the questions continue to mount on what informs the ban, this nutritionist gives a verdict on Momo as a source of nutrient in food.
We have different kinds of Momo. You have the white, you have the brown. But even as it may be, both are low in nutritional content, so they are of little or no benefit. Burning has its own side effects, and so you find that all these things may predispose to cancer. But Pomo may be recommended, I won't use the word prescribed, may be recommended because it doesn't have any, it's of low nutritional content.
Opinions, though, differ on what the ban means due to its consumption across all social strata, but the consensus is that it amounts to nothing but a big joke and misplacement of priority to ban its consumption.
I think I'm not really in love with Pomo. If it's meat now, complain. Provided Pomo is not, I don't really like Pomo like that, so I don't have problems.
Who is in Nigeria who doesn't eat Pomo? Tell me. But they can ban the consumption. They have to talk to Nigerians first. To talk to Nigeria first. This is like a staple food for Nigerians. Pomo Abba. Who will ban Pomo for Nigeria? No way.
While the views of consumers may differ, those whose livelihood revolves around its sales and consumption are not taking the threats to their daily bread lightly.
It's not good. If they ban this Pomo, it's not okay at all. Because you know that in Nigeria, there's many people with poverty. Poverty is reigning in Nigeria. No substitution for so many people, so they don't need to buy this Pomo. As a seller, it will affect us.
If the federal government acts true to its intention of banning the consumption and sales of Pomo, It's no doubt going to be a tug of war between the federal government and Nigerians. And as the clock ticks, Nigerians and the world over are anxiously waiting to see where this will end. Rashid, CoreTV News, Oshobo.
An interesting piece there by Rashid. Now, the National Bureau of Statistics has released the Consumer Price Index for August, noting that increase in the price of cereals has pushed up the country's inflation rate to 8.5%. The Consumer Price Index report noted that the 8.5% recorded in August represents an increase of 0.2% points over the 8.3% recorded in July. Since a decline of the headline index in January, prices continue to trend upwards at a slow pace, increasing by 0.1% between February and July. The report says food prices increased by 10% in August, marginally higher from 9.9% recorded in July, the highest price increase on a monthly basis recorded since July of 2013. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele, says the likely increase in aggregate spending in the run-up to the 2015 general elections are pressure points to monetary policy stability. CoreTV Primetime News is coming to you live from our Lagos studios. We'll take another break and we'll be back to continue. Don't go away.
There is an Ebola virus epidemic in some West African countries. The Nigerian government wants you to be aware and watch out against the spread of Ebola in your community. Help keep our country safe and watch out for severe cases of fever, headaches, diarrhea, chest and abdominal pain, sore throat, cough, red eyes and bleeding from the eyes, ears and nose, especially when these symptoms are found in persons coming into Nigeria from other West African countries. Protect yourself. Wash your hands regularly with soap and running water or use a hand sanitizer. Avoid contact with the blood, urine, feces or saliva of animals like bats, monkeys, gorillas, chimpanzees or infected persons. The Ebola virus is deadly. Don't catch it. Don't spread it. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
Der Torschütze zum zwischenzeitlichen 1:1. Semenike schickt Musa, da ist Ahmed Musa! Und da ist der Ausgleich!
It's a beautiful Saturday evening in the city of Lagos.
Off the turn, Phelps had it, but then Matsui kept going.
Finals. 5 to shoot. Leonard does.
And of course, making a difference for all of us here from all our production. I hope all your pleasure.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, our 24-hour news station.
Welcome back. And now outside Nigeria, the United Kingdom says it will take whatever steps are necessary to keep safe after a video showing the killing of a hostage, David Haines, was issued by Islamic State militants. David Cameron says the UK will hunt down the killers of the aid worker, whom he called a British hero. Cameron added that the menace of Islamic State militants had to be destroyed in a calm but deliberate way. In the video, ISIS also threatened to kill a second Briton who has been named as aid worker Alan Henning. Mr. Haines was seized in Syria in 2013. The video of his death came shortly after his family appealed to his captors to make contact with them. Increase in the rate of gun violence is at an all-time high across the world. Africa is witnessing high rate of illegal arms movement used by criminals to perpetrate evil and now terrorism. What can Africa learn from America's and Justin's gun buyback strategy? This report seeks to evaluate the effectiveness of the gun-by-gun policy. The report.
When Johnstone was just 10 years old, his father was shot dead by a teenager during a robbery. The tragedy inspired him to dedicate his work to curbing gun violence and start a non-profit organization called Gun by Gun.
This is like a new market-based approach to addressing gun violence locally that doesn't involve any of the debates over the Second Amendment or gun rights that have stopped any sort of progress happening.
After several mass killings, like the one in Newtown, Connecticut, Johnstone was frustrated that U.S. Congress failed to pass new gun control legislation. Gun by Gun is a simple concept. It uses crowdfunding to raise money to buy guns off the street.
It's a very powerful statement when somebody makes a donation to a gun by gun campaign, because they're opening their wallets and saying, I want fewer guns around me, and they're not getting anything in return. That's all they want. And so it's consumer demand. It's a market-based approach to dealing with the problem of gun violence.
The money raised over the internet fund guns buyback events held by local police. At these events, people bring in their guns and receive money in return that is donated by the community. Just $200 can take a military assault rifle off the street. Most gun buybacks are funded by cash-strapped police departments, so help from an organization like Gun by Gun is welcome. And while buybacks are only one part of the solution to preventing gun violence, police say they are crucial.
If we're taking over 700 guns off the street via gun buyback in the last 18 months, that's 700 guns that can't fall into the hands of the wrong person and used against somebody else.
Critics argue that programs like Gun by Gun might be well-intentioned, but only offer a limited solution to the epidemic of gun violence in the United States. Without new legislation, buybacks are only a drop in the bucket. But despite the challenges, Johnstone plans to expand his scheme across the country with hopes that Gun by Gun can make an impact one weapon at a time.
And that wraps it up on CoreTV Primetime News tonight. Thank you for joining us. I am Martins Dixon. Do you enjoy the rest of our programming?